Kind of a nice little view outside. What's up, guys? It's Jonathan with One Big Impact. So today, let's see if I can get this to focus. There we go. Did it work? Kind of worked. It's kind of bright out there. I'm sorry. If I back up a little bit, better. No. So Mary, let's see if I can pronounce your name correctly. Mary Wanat. Mary Jaworski. Let's see. Mary Jaworski. Wanat. Just ask the question, what made me decide to get healthy and start focusing on exercise and losing weight and things like that. So I'll start by saying, I'm going to try to kill some of the lights that are blinding out my existence here. Some of the things, some of the reasons, and I will say the main reason that I decided to get healthy was because I was going through some events in my life that I was having a lot of trouble with them. So this might be a bit of a storytelling, and I apologize in advance for that. But a few years back, I was going through a divorce, as you guys, a lot of you guys know. And I will say, I'm trying to kill the blindness of the glare here that's coming through the window. See if that helps a little bit. It definitely didn't help. But let's get started anyway. So I was going through a divorce, and obviously, just let alone getting out of a relationship and jumping into the single pool again will a lot of the times wake you up and make you realize, hey, maybe I'm not in the best shape I was, or is maybe not as good a shape as when we got together, or whatever. Nobody wants a 350-pound dude. That's how I felt anyway, and a lot of the times that's an internal feeling, not necessarily because I did unfortunately jump right into another relationship, and a very beautiful person. Ended up didn't work it out, but we stayed together for a few years, and it was a great relationship. Just ended up not being what I needed at the time, but it also did help me understand a lot of things about myself. Now, when I was going through the separation, I owned a thrift store with my ex-wife, and I got into a little bit of trouble, I guess. So basically, there was undercover cops. They were doing a sting operation, sold me some supposed stolen property, whatever. Anyway, not saying too much about it. Ended up going to court, and the first court date, they told me basically my options were to, and this was my public defender. Sorry. He told me that they were offering me a deal of 6 months unsupervised probation, and it was going to be a misdemeanor and stuff like that. And I said, okay, cool, no problem, let's do it. Well, he said, no, that's a bad deal. And I was listening to my public defender, and I was under the impression that he knew what he was talking about. He said, no, it's fine, I got more pull at a different location. We're going to transfer this to Phoenix because this is a Mesa court. I said, okay, whatever. Think nothing of it. And he said, I'll see you over there. Well, I get there, and for starters, never heard from him again. Never saw him. And the first day of court, my new lawyer, or public pretender, didn't show up. He actually didn't show up for the first 4 court dates. And the first 4 were really important because at the first court date, they told me, well, you didn't like our deal that we were going to give you a Mesa, so here's a new deal. You have two options. You can either accept guilt or whatever they called it, and you can serve a year in prison, mandatory, or you can fight it, and if you lose, you can go to prison for 10 years. I didn't have any priors. I didn't have anything, and I was confused. It shook my life up a lot. At the same exact time, literally the same exact time, I was going through a divorce. My wife was leaving me. I was losing the daughters that I was raising, and it was really traumatic. Plus, I'm bipolar. I was drinking a lot, smoking weed, smoking cigarettes. I was at like 4 packs a day, stressed out all the time. So I started, and I was in a new relationship through the course of this and stuff, but I wasn't working, and stuff like that. So I came to the conclusion one day. I was driving down the road, and I don't know if you ever drove down the road and you're driving down the road and you feel your wind, and I may have talked about this before. This is kind of my journey number 3. I was driving down the road, and if you ever felt the wind blowing in your hand, and you put your hand out the window, and you're just cruising along, and you just feel it. And it was getting close to sentencing, and I guess we were about halfway through, about a year in to the court proceedings, and I realized at that very moment, while my hand was going in the wind, I was going to lose two things that were really important to me. I was going to lose my children that I've raised since day one, by myself, single father. Love my kids to death. They're buttholes because they're freaking teenagers now, but I still love them, and I would do anything for them. And the other thing is I'm going to lose my freedom. And my freedom, I love my country. I believe in our justice system. I believe in, I love the ability to be able to walk outside and do whatever I want. I love the ability to just do all kinds of things. So at this point in my life, I was at a pretty low point. And once I decided that, I went to the court, and my lawyer didn't show up, and I said, I'm really the only one that can change this. I'm really the only one that can live a different life right now. I'm pretty overweight, and never really thought of it like a weight thing. I just figured, I'm not living a healthy lifestyle. I never even focused on weight until I got down to like 280, 275, and I sat there for like a year, and then I started saying, hey, maybe I can get to the next level. And that was really from 350, 342 to 280, 275. Never even thought about the weight. Just made changes. So in that very moment when I was driving down the road, I said, you know what, I'm going to make a change. Right there, on the spot, driving down the road, I quit smoking weed. I quit smoking cigarettes, 4 packs a day, 24 years. I said, you know what, it's enough. It's enough. If I'm going to go to prison for a year or 10 years or whatever, I can't show my children that I didn't fight, for this type of situation. Like, if it happens, and knock on wood, if it were to happen, then I can't go having my children see me just give up and roll over and not do anything as far as on my end. So that day I quit smoking cigarettes, quit smoking weed, quit drinking as much. I actually quit drinking, I think, for like a year and a half, 2 years or something. Something pretty substantial, because it was just, I was focused on too many different things. I didn't know who was my friend at this point. I didn't know who was flipping on me. My wife had left me. I was going through a lot of stuff. So I thought at this point, it was time to make a change. So I started doing those things. I stopped doing drinking, cigarettes, and that moment, I got online when I got home, and I said, and I didn't have a job or nothing. I said, you know what, I'm going to apply. I said, where would I like to work? I said, you know what, I like building stuff. I like fixing stuff. Home Depot. I called up, or I got online, applied for it. The next morning, boom, they called me, went in, got the interview, got the job. Actually, I had the job for 5 years. I just recently quit for this, for you guys, to become a personal trainer and kind of move forward with my life. After the point, I got the job at Home Depot, and then I said, you know what? That's not enough. That's not enough. I want to go back to school. Well, I go back to school, and apparently Obama changed it. So you had to have, if you wanted to go to college, you had to change. You had to have had or have your GED or diploma. Well, I had went to college previously, and I didn't have that. So obviously, I realized at this point, I go, okay, well, I clearly wasn't serious then. So it's time to get serious now. So I said, all right, I'm going to enroll in GED classes. I guess that's the first step. I can't go to college yet. College isn't going to accept me until I go there. So I went to GED classes for 4 months. Meanwhile, I think I started kind of slightly dabbling in working out. Went to college, or I went to GED classes. I ended up acing my GED class, my GED test. I got like, I guess it was possible 800. I got 800 on every one. So I did really good. Went every day. And then I go to college, and I get to college, and I don't know what I'm going to go. I ended up enrolling for architecture program, associates in applied science for architecture. I ended up meeting a lady named Dr. Corsandi. She was, I believe, Iranian. I don't know. Ended up being not. She was the director of the architecture program. Ended up having, asking her if she needed help and stuff like that. She ended up hiring me. I got a job. I was a full-time employee at the college. Meanwhile, I have all these court things going through my head, or going in the background, going to court all the time and stuff like that. And in addition, with the 8 or 10 years or whatever, and the mandatory 1 year, they told me no matter what, I was going to get a felony for trafficking in stolen property or whatever it was, attempted trafficking in stolen property. So what it ended up being. So I get the job. I'm working part-time at Home Depot. I'm working full-time at the school, and I'm taking like, I think it was like full-time plus half. So it was like 21 credits or something per time. My boss there, I ended up working there for like 4 semesters or something. Some pretty long time. She ended up being like a tyrant. And put me through a lot of mental stress and stuff. So I ended up stopped working for her. I think she lost her job and different things, whatever. Overall, she was a great lady. We just had conflict, So I'm a very dominant person. She was also a very dominant person. So I think it kind of, because of that, our personalities conflicted, which is fine, whatever. But I actually learned a lot by myself through that too. It was amazing. It's been kind of a little learning journey. So after the point of going to court and everything, I had the job at Home Depot. I had the job at MCC. I was going to school full time. I got my GED. I quit smoking, quit doing drugs. I quit drinking, all these things. Okay, just done, because I knew if I showed up at that last court date and I had not done everything. And here's the thing, I was going to the last court date. It was a sentencing court date. And it was guaranteed a year in prison. So I get to the last court date, and I get there, and I don't think my kids were there. I don't think I brought them because I didn't want them to see me get locked up. But I go in there, and I talk to the judge, and he's like, okay, this is what we're looking at, blah, blah, blah. And I said, can I say something first before you make your decision or anything? Usually they don't let you talk. It's really, oh, and by the way, little did I know, transferring my case from Mesa to Phoenix made this instantly from from like a civil violation to a criminal. So we went from a civil court to a criminal court, and I didn't know that. So basically, you gave up your misdemeanor for a felony, and nobody ever even told me that. So I did not know it was all about to break loose on me like this. There was a lot of times I did not want to keep going throughout the process, and I just felt like it was over. Um, but that last court date, I said to the gentleman at the court, or Your Honor, I said, hey, I just want to let you know, I've changed my life. I'm not saying I did or didn't do anything wrong. Whatever the situation was, I probably made the wrong choice, and I apologize for that. And I said I have no problem, facing the consequences. I said, but I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, and I told him all the things that I had changed. And he said, this is the biggest waste of resources I've ever seen. Meaning, we've wasted 2 years on this, and for what? For what? What was the point? So he said, you got 6 months unsupervised probation. Unfortunately, he said, because it came to this court, I have to give you the felony. So you got a felony for attempted trafficking in stolen property. In addition to that, you just pay your $60 a month and have a good day. So I leave, obviously relieved. I leave, relieved, and throughout the process of going to school and stuff like that, I started getting around people that were bettering themselves, whether it was through education or whether it was through certifications or degrees or stuff like that. So I started kind of focusing on, hey, these people look good. I need to look good too. I want to look good because I'm living a new life now. I'm focused on bettering myself. So I started working out, and I started working out each and every morning on the way to my job at the school, because I would have to be there by like 8 or 9. So before 8 or 9, I would go to the gym, and it was actually Lifetime Fitness. It was really expensive, but I had 2 jobs, so it was fine. And Lifetime Fitness was like $70 a month. But I used to, and this was towards the beginning of my journey. It really didn't click till way later. So from 342 to about 280, I was just from exercising rigorously. I used to run 5 miles a day, and I was really heavy, and it was really hurt my body a lot, and that's why I am striving now to help others try to not hurt themselves. And I'll be honest, I may be in a certain amount of pain right now because I've done it recently, and it's kind of inevitable. It's kind of the learning journey. But a couple months later, after I got off, or after I was put on probation, my probation officer calls me and she goes, hey, I forgot to tell you, happy birthday. I took you off probation a month ago. I just want to let you know, and I'm sending you a refund for your last month's dues or whatever. I'm like, what? That's crazy. So I got off probation 5 months early because, when somebody gets a felony, they're like, oh, he's got to be on drugs or there's problems or something like that. And there was no problems. I had remedied everything myself before it even became an issue. So after that, and even towards the beginning, when I was getting healthy and stuff like that, I knew my life had to change, but I had not really worried so much about weight, like I said before. The thing that was worried me was, alcohol use, drug abuse, cigarettes, and stuff like that. So it kind of was a gradual, slow, subconscious progression to getting healthier. I didn't really focus on weight loss. And I'll be honest, I went from 342 to 280 with literally not smoking and making slight food choices and stuff like that. I was like, Instagram, look at my broccoli and chicken and rice, but I didn't really know what I was doing with food or anything like that. So it came one day was talking to my buddy Juan, my mentor. I say mentor because he's a really smart guy. He's probably like 15 years younger than me. Really super smart. I call him Tarzan because he's got this flowing hair. He's a Colombian guy. But he's really into fitness and really super smart. Great guy. And I've learned a ton of stuff from him. But I was at like 275 and I was exercising every day. And I asked him one day, hey, what do you think? I'm trying to cut weight. What do you think I could do? And he goes, well, what are you eating? And I told him what I eat. And I was like, I go to the gym in the morning after picking up a breakfast sandwich and 2 Green Monsters. Then after I leave the gym, I eat 4 breakfast burritos from McDonald's, a large coffee, a large iced vanilla caramel frappuccino coffee, and 4 hash browns. And he's like, you're eating that around the time you go to the gym? And I was like, yeah, why? I'm working out every day, and honestly, I was completely blown away about the nutrition part. And he goes, well, try reducing your carbs. And I was like, that's stupid. What does that have? That would have nothing to do. That's not going to do anything. What is the carbs going to do for me? There's no way that's going to help. So, let me check, make sure Boo didn't message me. So I thought, well, okay, how do I reduce the carbs, I asked. And he goes, have you ever tried like a low carb diet, like Atkins or something like that? I said, no. He said, well, go on the website, check it out, make a meal plan, follow it, see what happens. And the rest is history. The rest is literally from that day that I started recording. And I think I started recording a little bit, maybe a week late. But you can see the rest of my journey from here, all on the videos. I'm like 1,400 videos deep. And I think about 300 or 400 of them are whether it's Atkins, weight loss, health related, or something like that. So it's pretty much all documented from there. But I went straight off into induction. I didn't mess with anything else. Went straight off into induction, and I followed it more strict than you can ever believe. I didn't add anything in, nothing. I did exactly what I was told. I did exactly what the website said. I did not fluctuate. I did not cheat days. I did not do anything but what it said to do. And my results were absolutely amazing. I was losing fast, and I was losing consistently. And if I didn't lose one day, I would get on the treadmill and move. And I did not mess around with it. It was not a game to me. It was the first time I had actually focused on weight loss, and I was getting amazing results, and I felt so good about it. So then from there, I went all the way down from 280 to 193 was my lowest documented weight. I'm currently not that weight. I am at 230-ish right now, bulking. But where I feel good lately has been about I cut all the way down to 220 and then or 218, 220, and then bulk back up from there. So that being said, from that point, I went all the way down to 193, felt pretty slim, and now I've been on the process of building muscle and things like that. So building muscle, cutting fat. So I've learned a lot of things. I've really learned an amazing abundance of things, and I feel really good about what I've learned. But there is so much more that I myself am learning each and every single day. You can't be a professional on any industry if you're not willing to continuously progress with your knowledge. And it doesn't matter if you're getting paid for it or not. The important thing is that if you want to be a professional about what you're doing, if you want to be a professional goal meter, meaning you want to meet those goals that you're setting for yourself, then it's really important that you constantly are progressing. You can't say, you know what, I haven't lost weight in 6 months. Screw it. It's whatever. Because you didn't stall, you didn't stop, you just straight up gave up, okay? if I don't see a progression of something, whether it's trying to gain weight for muscle or if it's trying to lose weight, if I go 2 weeks without seeing something change right now, like something changes. I am changing something. Like the last few days, I felt bloated because I think I added too much potatoes. So I'm probably, if I go another couple days and that's the case, and if I gain too much weight, I'm going to drop off some of those potatoes, okay? So it's a continual progression. The cool thing about self-improvement, self-development, or changing your healthy lifestyle is you can always do something different. You know, a lot of people will say, well, I got my master's degree and I know everything about this situation. I don't want to go back to school. That's fine. But health is a continuously progressing thing. And the cool thing is, you might think you know everything about the industry and everything about weight loss and everything about what you're doing. But tomorrow, you're going to be a little bit older. And you're going to have to learn what works tomorrow might not work today. What works today might not work tomorrow. And as you do age, you're going to have to learn more stuff because now you're older and you got to lose weight. It's not the same as when you're younger. You know, there's different types of things into play. There's hormones, there's balancing, all kinds of things. And there's joint pain, experiencing that right now. There's a lot of different things that are unaccounted for. So my journey is continuing because the second 30 years of my life, I got to age 30. It pretty much switched to age 30. I think that was her original question. When did it happen? When did you start focusing on it? It's pretty much age 30, about 6-7 years ago. And I promised myself, I'm remembering the promise now. It's been a while since I thought about it. These things have been coming back to me, actually, through a lot of Facebook memories and stuff. And I feel good about it. It's reigniting me, helping me feel really positive. My first 30 years was full of drug use, partying, stress, homelessness, anger, aggression, fighting, getting beat up, stabbed, just trying to fit in, never being able to fit in, just being a fun hater, being the guy that says, no, that's stupid, that's gay, that makes me look vulnerable, and I wouldn't say that, obviously. I had this self-justifying image that I had to constantly be a badass. And I'll be honest, like, that still sits right there on my shoulder. And it doesn't have to. And my first 30 years were about hating literally everything. Anything that I was against, I just hated it, okay? Just hated it. Hate, hate, hate. It was just so much hate. So that's why I say spread love, not hate, because I'm a perfect example of the things you can lose if you constantly spread so much hate. The promise to myself was that my first 30 years was what it was. And my second 30 years, I was going to be more open-minded. So I did things like I took dance lessons, ballroom dance lessons for like 2.5 years. Some people in my life would probably be shocked about that. Actually, one of my dance instructors is on my Facebook, believe it or not, Yulia. She just moved back to Texas from Spain. She's a foreign person or whatever. She will attest that I'm probably not that great at dancing. But I did compete and I had a good time. And then I actually went to school, took a semester of ballroom dance lesson at school, because in my first 30 years I would have said that's stupid, that's gay. Like, only weirdos do that stuff or whatever. So I started thinking everything that I thought was bad in my first 30 years, or I was closed-minded to, I was going to open my mind to. Fitness was one of them. We used to work out in my 20s, but then into my late 20s and 30s, I just kind of became a everything hater. I was in a really bad mindset. I was trying to get SSI and all kinds of things. I was convinced by doctors and my family and everybody that I couldn't hold a job, I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't be successful, there was no way I could mentally hold on to any of this stuff. So I started to believe in it, and I started to go that route, and it was a very dark route. Um, there was a few years that I guess I probably thought about dying 50 times a day, wanted to die, talked about death a lot, and it was a very bad place. At my highest weight, I actually developed psoriasis. I have psoriasis really bad, and I don't know if you can see, it's maintained right now. But you probably can't see it. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. I don't know. But can you see it? It's on the white patchy things. It's very controlled right now. Like it's very mild right now, and that's because I take a medication called Humira, and that's actually a medication that makes you have virtually no immune system. So it's really dangerous if I get like a common cold or something like that. So that's kind of another reason I focus on exercising and not missing days and stuff like that. I'm not supposed to be at like airports. I'm not supposed to be in really large social situations like concerts or shopping malls or something like that, because it's very dangerous, because I have literally no immune system, because my immune system is attacking itself, or my immune system, I have an overactive immune system, and my immune system is like attacking my skin cells basically and just kind of pushing too much to the surface. But also, mental health has always been a struggle for me. I'm not making excuses. I'm not one to say, I am a horrible person because I'm this or whatever. I'm been diagnosed bipolar with severe mania. I have clinical depression, anxiety, ADHD, and I've been medicated for this stuff since I was 3 years old, all the way up into, I'd say right around my 30s, 32. I was taking about 10,000 milligrams of Depakote a day back then. And I also noticed through exercising and stuff like that and eating more healthy and stuff, it tends to help me. I will say my mania is something that doesn't go away. Nothing's changed it. My swings in mood are maybe getting a little bit better with age, but I'm a very moody person. I'm a very sometimes angry person, sometimes very manic depressive, meaning like if I get $1,000, I'll spend I'll spend 1,200 or something like that. Like it's a very difficult thing to manage mentally, because you don't really know what's happening until you're homeless because you didn't pay your bills, because you wanted to buy everybody presents or something. You know what I mean? Like some random thing or whatever. So there's a lot of benefits that I am benefiting from, and I feel like I've gone too far to go back. And there was things like that I noticed, even at 280. When I was 280, I noticed when I would get home from Home Depot, my legs would hurt. My legs and feet would hurt so bad. It was the most excruciating pain I've ever felt. Like when I would sit down, actually when I lit myself on fire and I got skin grafting and debriding on my leg and foot, was probably the worst pain I ever felt. That's a weird story. But gas and tequila, they don't mix, okay? And lighters. But when I lost about 10 pounds from 280 to 270, about 265 maybe, I noticed the pain had completely went away. No pain in my feet and legs when I got home from work. I didn't feel like my legs were rotting off anymore. It was crazy. So that's kind of what got me addicted. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that was weight oriented. I just thought it was because of whatever. And that's why I'm telling you, like, I never from 342 to 280, I really never even knew I had a weight problem. Just thought I was a big guy, And a lot of the times we need some kind of wake up call. And that kind of helped me wake up a little bit. I was like, okay. Now, another thing, when I was at my heaviest weight at 342, and these are things that have changed. And this might be slightly graphic, and I apologize. there was a period of like 2 to 3 years where every single day of every time I went to the bathroom, I would shit solid blood. A lot of the times I would feel like I had to go to the bathroom and it wouldn't be anything but blood. Um, and like blood clots, and there was nothing else. And it got to the point to where, and I can remember it, my knees kind of hurt from running. But I'll show you what I would do. I would go to the bathroom, and depending on the day, usually it was really bad. I would go into whatever situation I would be in afterwards, and I would have to sit like this. And this position was in the store. I couldn't drive. I couldn't do anything. And the reason I did this is because the pain on my butthole, basically, I don't know the term for that, your sphincter? No. But anyway, would be so insanely on fire. It would just be excruciating pain for like, depending on the day, sometimes it would, I would say an average of like 45 minutes to an hour. Now, I would assume it was hemorrhoids or something, but I know it was based off of my weight. And I could not do anything while that pain was happening. Nothing. And it was happening every day. I was killing myself. And it was happening slowly, and it was happening surely. So that went away when I lost weight. I used to take, I'm getting a headache now. I used to take, what shirt am I wearing? I used to take a acid reflux medication every single day, okay? Every day I would take acid reflux medication, and it was so bad I would take a bottle and a half of Tums every single day. Every day. Every day it was Tums, 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 Tums. And I was drinking and I was eating just insane amounts of food. And that went away when I lost weight. And these tiny little things that I started noticing were pivotal, because to me, I was getting my life back. And I hadn't even noticed that it had slipped away. You know, so a lot of the times when you're on your healthy journey or something like that, try to focus on those things that have changed for the better, because a lot of us will slip. And I'll be honest, I slip too. Okay, I'm not perfect. I'm an overeater. You know, it's not necessarily that my thing is sweets. I could eat, you know, before when I was heavy or whatever, I would sit there and binge eat 5 gallons of ice cream in one setting. And I know that's nothing necessarily to be proud of by any means. But, you know, I was going through a lot of emotions and stuff like that. Maybe it wasn't the best relationship, and the medications and all kinds of things. So a lot of things have changed for me for the better through my healthy journey. So now I'm at the point, the reason I keep going is, one, because Healthy Living for a Healthy Life on Facebook, if you haven't followed us, by the way, check us out. I'll put the links in the description below. The group is full of people that are striving each and every day. People that are on the same damn journey I am. It's not any different for me, you know. It's, you know, everybody has a different life and a different situation, but it's all a healthy journey, you know. And it doesn't matter if you're low carb, high carb, vegan. I don't care what you are. If you want to live a healthy life and, you know, love yourself more than maybe you did before, and that kind of gets me a little bit choked up, because even now in my state where I am currently, I feel like I'm a lot healthier than I was, and I know I am. But even now I struggle with loving myself, you know. So it's important that you keep going. The other reason that I keep going is because I love it. I love it now. It's kind of like second nature to drink my water. It's second nature to meal prep. It's second nature to go to the gym. I was talking to somebody earlier, PT, and I told the person that I looked up in my book. This is my book. I've showed you guys this. And it keeps getting bigger. This is my book. This is my Be Stronger Than Your Excuses. This is all my workouts. I guess I can show you. From the last, and I don't know if you can see that, but that's all the stapled everything. These are all my workouts from the last 41 weeks. I have more. This is how long it's been since I missed a day at the gym, through traveling and everything. So it's not that it's an addiction, it's just when you realize how bad it was when you came from where you came from, you don't want to go back, you know, and you'll do anything you can to fight for it. So a lot of the times we focus on different things that we should. If you've ever been in a situation, even mentally, where you've struggled and you see that type of situation creeping back in, you run from it, you know? It's kind of like people that have issues with getting in relationships or something like that, because they've been hurt, and they're scared of commitment because they've been hurt. You know, people start saying, trust no one, and things like that. And you really can't, you have to be careful about what you adapt those things to. But health and loving yourself and, you know, a fit journey and stuff like that is never something to be scared of. But you always have to remember, hey, the healthy you is right over there, so be careful. Don't go back there. I hope this video made sense. I apologize. I know it's kind of rambling. You guys know I do that a lot. But that's kind of my healthy journey and why I continue to go. Plus, I think one of the most important things is I know what it's like, and that's why I want to help other people. Maybe I'm not the best YouTuber. Maybe I'm not, you know, the greatest at explaining stuff. I'm not the smartest guy out there, but I do want to change people's lives, because I know the insane impact that it can have for a more positive experience, more positive life. We really do get one chance at this. You know, you're not going to get a do-over. It's not an arcade game. You know, you don't just click start and it goes again. You know, if you really don't take care of yourself, you could pass away prematurely. And let's not kid ourselves. You could prematurely pass away. You could walk outside and get hit by a bus tomorrow. That's a possibility. But if you don't, it would be nice to live better without acid reflux, without psoriasis, without, you know, cancer, without obesity, without all of those things. Because you deserve to be loved. You deserve to be loved mostly by yourself. And if you are doing those things, unfortunately, and you can look at it whichever way you want, but if I were to do those things, it's not loving myself. It's slowly hurting myself. And a lot of us do it because of things that we've been through and stuff like that. And I understand that. You know, I'm an emotional eater sometimes too. But you have to be stronger than your excuses. And you also have to remember to spread love, not hate. And also keep some of that love. Keep some of that love for yourself. The important thing is that you're always spreading love out there. Make sure you keep some for you because you're amazing and you deserve it. Thanks, guys, and have a beautiful day. I gotta go. I don't know what I gotta do. I ain't got nothing to do. This is my job, girl. Bye. Mary, I hope I answered the question. Beware when you guys answer questions. You can get a 45-minute video of some old crazy stuff. Bye.